Go ahead, Umesh.
Okay. Good evening, guys. Welcome to the session. Another live conversations with DQ Labs. So today we are going to talk something very specific for the NID PG stream. How do you approach the sketching-based questions, especially the specific questions for the design specializations, right? So all right. Um, okay. So the NID PG paper had been undergoing various changes since quite a few years. So they have been playing with the kind of questions, the format, and etc. etc. Okay. So just last year, that is 2020 NID PG paper, they have reintroduced something called as the design specific paper. Previously, in 2020, sorry, 2020, yeah, 2020, 2021, right? Yeah, 2020, 2019. In 2019, there was faculty specific questions. Okay. Now, 2020, they have made discipline specific questions. So in 2021 as well, they are going with discipline specific questions. In 2018, it was a general paper for all disciplines, just one simple plain paper, very common paper, which was very simple than the M.Des paper. Right? So they have been trying to experiment and see how they can shortlist the bright candidates and etc. etc. But 2020 was a shocker for most of the students because they have asked very specific questions. So they had a small generic paper for all the design disciplines. And then there was a specific question for the design discipline specific paper. So in total, there are 19 disciplines, right? And you were asked to choose not more than 2 disciplines. So some of you might have chosen, let us say, information design and product design, or toy and game design and strategic design management, combination of any of these 19 disciplines, possible disciplines, right? So in terms of the practicality, like how the paper is set, so there is a common design aptitude test. So the DAT comprises of a CDAT, which is common design aptitude test, which will be for 30 minutes. Okay. So mostly it will be of subjective and objective questions. And then the design discipline specific test will follow. So if you have opted for only one design discipline, then you'll be having 2 hours of test. So in total, you'll be having 2 hours, 30 minutes test. If you have chosen 2 disciplines, then you would have 2 hours each for the design paper. So that means that 4 hours for both the design papers plus 30 minutes for the common design aptitude test. So those who are going for the 2 disciplines, they have to spend about 4.5 hours in the exam without any break. You would have to do that test. So we're talking about the preparation now. So you are all aware that there are 3 kinds of questions that they ask in the sketching part. One is related with checking up with your sketching skills. Second is checking your creative thinking skills. And the third is related with the design ability. So under design ability, the design ability questions can be related with observation, ideation, suggestion, problem finding, that kind, or it could be a completely designing or coming up with a new solution altogether, right? So I'm gonna tell you a little magic framework. So especially for the design specific questions, because there are 19 disciplines, right? Um, I'm going to tell you a framework that would work with all the 19 disciplines. When you implement that framework, you would thoroughly become a strong design aspirant, right? So I'm not sure how many of you have attended the previous webinar. The previous webinar was about managing your time. If you have not watched it, please watch that webinar, especially for the office goers, how they can manage their time, when to study, what to study, when to revise, what is the best time to study, how much time you have to spend, etc. All that has been discussed, and it is very much important that you see that as well. So when you are writing this NID entrance exam or the CED entrance exam, right, you always be focused with your long-term aspiration. Your long-term aspiration, since you're going into the design field, is to become a well-known, successful, competent designer, right? And these entrance exams is only a step to reach to your final goal. This is not the final goal. Cracking the NID exam or getting into NID exam is not the final goal, right? When you look from that perspective, your horizon will improve tremendously and you will be more motivated to put in a lot of effort for this preparation, because every minute that you are investing, your time that you're investing in this design exam preparation is gonna make you a strong design aspirant and ultimately a successful designer. So first thing first, you have to get the sketching fundamentals correct, right? This is inevitable. No matter which discipline that you're going into, let us say UX UI, or maybe say SDM, strategic design management, okay, where the importance of sketching in practice is not that high, but the criteria for selection, the exam would test your sketching skills, right? So it is important that you have to get your sketching fundamentals correct. And I hope you're all utilizing the faculty at DQ Labs to get your sketching fundamentals right. Because once you know how to communicate through visuals, then you can represent any kind of an idea fluently, and your focus will be on how best you can conceptualize and you can present your ideas in the exam. Okay, so you may have a brilliant idea, but if you are not able to communicate it through visuals, then it's a great loss. Now you may say, why I have to communicate through visuals? Now this is a prerequisite, unfortunately, for getting into design schools like NID and CED. They expect you to have thorough sketching skills. Even if not in the round one, they will filter out you in the second round, where you go there for the studio test and they check out your work and they interact with you. There they will filter out, because the competition is high, and basically those who are fluent with visual communication stand a better chance of getting into these design schools. That is how the system is. That necessarily does not mean that you cannot become a great designer. Absolutely not. Okay, but this is just a process, a prerequisite for getting into a good design school. So I cannot stress more than this on the importance of sketching fundamentals. Please put in your effort in getting these sketching fundamentals correct. So the second aspect is the creative thinking skills. You have to tremendously sharpen your creative thinking skills. You can do a plenty of practice. These need not be classroom practice. You can also do this kind of a practice when you are in a work environment. Let us say you find two people, two colleagues. So you can probably think about what these two colleagues will be talking about, something bizarre, right? And probably you can sketch it out, right? Or you can take three random objects on your desk, or just peek out through the window and find three elements or three objects that are moving around on the road or anywhere, and create a story with these three objects, right? So yes, the classroom activities also help, but it need not be restricted to that. Your practice of creative thinking can happen even beyond the classroom, right? You can also think about, okay, in a particular situation, what could be a funny response to a particular question asked by somebody, right? So all these can be sharpening your creative thinking skills, right? Now let us come back to the framework for any of the 19 disciplines, because the design discipline specific question paper will have very specific questions related to that design discipline. Okay. The 2020 NID paper was the first paper where they have heavily gone into the technicality of the design, the terms that they used and the processes and etc., the terminologies, the measurements, and they have really gone into depth. And what they have done is, by doing so, they have filtered out people who are not practical or do not have practical experience in the design discipline that they are applying for. Whereas the people who are already working in those fields, okay, by probably as an internship or probably by taking up some freelance works and etc., they found the paper very easy because it was quite technical oriented, right? So I'm going to give this framework. You can apply it for any of the 19 design disciplines. Okay, so as we go along with these framework, let us also quickly do some Google search to help you implement how we have to utilize this framework. Okay, fine. So which means that I'll have to switch between the screens. So let me figure out how do I do that. All right. So okay, let us start with the first aspect of the framework: technical terms. Okay, I'm not sure if you have done this or not. Let us say you're applying for product design. Okay, you are required to know all the technical terms or the lingo that is used in the discipline of product design. All right. So let us say you're going for UI, UX, or interaction design, or information design, or strategic design management, or apparel design, lifestyle accessory design. So there are so many terms that are very relevant for that design discipline. So you have to make a glossary of these terms, and that process of making the glossary of the terms is your method of learning, right? So when you bump upon a particular term, like for example, let us say there's a wireframe. Okay, so when you come across a word like wireframe, yes, a definition is given for that, but your research should not end, your inquisitiveness should not end at knowing the definition, but you have to go beyond understanding what are the different kinds of wireframes that can be available. Like for example, there can be paper wireframes, there could be wireframes used by a particular software like Figma and etc. So you got to know these various technical terms. All right. Now there is no specific source for this, because see, as you see that the technology is moving very fast, the methodologies are improvising very fast. So the best source of getting all these information is yes, definitely some websites very specific for these design disciplines. For example, if you're looking at transportation design, or as they call uh, the automobile design, transportation and automobile design, or the mobility and vehicle design, right? If you're looking for that, then you can probably look for special magazines or special what do you call online portals that are focusing on those specific fields, like for example car body styling or carbodydesign.com, okay, or carstyling.com, and you can go through those websites and gain the technical terms. Now let me just take a minute here, since we are talking about the transportation design. Okay, so your search can be like that. Like for example, glossary of automotive design. Let us say you can, Wikipedia is a good source. You get all the kinds and terms of such words. Okay, or you can also look for car and driver glossary and car terms. But here we are talking about the design aspect. So I would suggest you please restrict your search for car body design. Let's say car body design. All right. So you restrict your search for more specific websites like this, right? Okay. So you get, when you are reading these articles, all right, so you get so much of terms that they use. You can note down those terms, right? Okay. So that is one. Let us say, for example, product design terminology. Okay. Okay. So you can look for 3-4 websites. Please do in-depth study, because they will not cover all the terms, right? Okay. For example, alias. Okay, so I don't know how many of you know about this particular term, alias. It's a brand of CAD software. Okay, now this is what I'm trying to help you, right? Okay, alias, they have given a definition. Brand of CAD software most often used for free form modeling and visualization, becoming less prevalent. All right. Now, this is a definition that is given by these guys, but this definition is not complete in nature. All right. So it's a brand of CAD software, but they're not talking about which brand of CAD software it is, and where, in which industry this particular software is used extensively. That is not mentioned, right? So now once you come across this kind of words, what you have to do is further do a detailed research, right? Software, because it's a software, right? Alias software, right? So then you get to the right source, and then you can study about that and understand what this particular software is all about. Okay. Now this is extensively used in the transportation design. All right. So it's very famous for the transportation design, production and conceptualization, and all the companies, majority of the transportation design companies and studios use this as a very important tool. So you have to do that kind of a research for getting into the details of that particular term. All right. So that's the first thing. Okay. The second is the softwares used and their tools. Okay, so now what happened is, since every design discipline can be executed using computers, okay, every design discipline has a specific tool for use to accomplish the tasks. Okay, if you are into interaction design, there are certain tools that you can use for creating these wireframes and final prototypes and etc. etc. Right? Let us say you are a product designer. Now there are different tools that are available, which are open source and which are also like licensed versions from specific companies, like for example, Fusion 360, which is a licensed software from Adobe, right, which is very effectively being used for the product design. Similarly, if you're looking at uh, the open source softwares like Blender, right, which is used for again product design, or 3D Studio Max for rendering. So you have to be thorough in terms of the softwares that are used within your design discipline. Okay, not just knowing the softwares, the names, the terms, but also the specifications. For example, we have seen about the Alias software. Now, to run Alias software, what is the minimum configuration that is required? Okay, so that's a practical term, right? Okay, so it requires certain kind of a configuration. It needs to have a clock speed of x and x to y, right? So it has to be more than 2.3 gigahertz, or sometimes it's 3 gigahertz, and etc. So you got to get into that kind of a practical details, right? So that is number one. Secondly, the most commonly used tools within the software, right? So what is the purpose of those tools, and why would you use it, and etc., etc., right? For example, anybody who is listening to this webinar, going for transportation design, know about Alias. Okay, so I can ask the question like, for example, what are the 3 types of curvature checks that are possible in using Alias software? So if you do not know the practical application of Alias software, then you are like, you don't know what I'm talking about, right? So you got to know the practical use of these softwares. Okay. Now one may say that, okay, sir, why I should know all of this? I would learn all these when I go to the school, isn't it? You're going to the school to learn all of this, right? But the thing is, the competition is like that. People who are really passionate, they don't wait for the school to open or to join. They learn on their own. They explore these tools. So they're looking, these NIDs and UC, the seed exams are set to identify those passionate and uh, and most valid design aspirants, and give them the opportunity. Because even before joining the design school, if they're showing so much of passion, imagine what they will do, giving all the opportunity to learn new stuff, right? So they do amazing stuff, right? So you got to know all of this. Okay, if you're not done this kind of a research, then please get into doing that research. Okay, so that boils down to the practical experience of using these various softwares, tools, and etc. Let us say you're into graphic design, okay, and let us say if you want to print a 3 feet by 3 feet poster, right? And you have to send it to the printer. Now, in which format would you send the print in? Which is the best format to send the print in without losing the quality of the image that you're sending across? Okay. Or what should be the resolution of the image such that the printer can print high quality output, right? So these are all related with practical experiences, practical application, right? Okay, so I'm sure those who are interested in graphic design, they would have got some exposure of printing and etc., etc., right? So they can answer. Maybe somebody who is going to SDM may not know that answer. So that is the reason these kind of questions are asked, very specific to design specific, discipline specific questions. Okay, so you got to know these, and it is only possible once you develop the practical experience. Now, if you're having a very short amount of time, how you can gain this practical experience? Now, you being a designer, you can use methodologies to get that practical experience. So one of the ways is visualizing. Let us say you got a big order. Now you have to put up a big poster of Rajnikant, which is like 30 feet high by maybe 20 feet wide. Now that order has been given to you. You have created a nice poster. Now you have to get it printed. Now, how would you get it printed? Now, first of all, would you get such a big size printing machine? Is it possible or not? So what is the limitation of printing a flex banner? Okay, what is the limitation in terms of the width? of the roll or the print, or what is the limitation of the length, right? You got to know. So you create this kind of a scenarios and try to explore yourself. So call up a printer and say, see, I have this kind of a poster. How can you print it? Can you help me out, right? So the other guy will be very excited to help you out, right? Okay. So get practical experience uh, through kind of thinking of some imaginary projects, and talk to the vendors, talk to the stakeholders, and see how it can be done. Okay. For example, a product design student, what is the how you can do a small prototype of a product that you have designed in a CAD software. Okay, so what is the material used, what is the process used, what is the cost of it, how much time it's going to take, right? What should be the precision of the model while you're giving, in what format you have to export it to them. All these questions you have to ask and find out if you do not have the practical experience. So imagine situations and put yourself in the shoe of a product designer, and call up few people, few vendors, and ask, find out what format they want and how much time it's going to take, what material they're going to use. So let us say you want everything transparent, so what material are they going to suggest, etc. What technology they're going to use, and all of that, right? So that brings us to the technology part. So in each of these 19 disciplines, there are specific technologies that are prevalent, right? Let us take um, photography design. If you're interested in photography design, okay. So what are the various technology developments that are happening in the photo industry? What kind of lenses are available? What is the limitations of those lenses? Okay, which are the brands that sell the best of the best lenses, right? And what kind of a lens has to be used for which kind of an application, right? And what are lenses made up of? Okay, so all this related with technology. Okay, so since we are talking about photography design, now there are these new kind of inkless printers that are coming into the picture, right? I hope if you are aware of the inkless printers, right? So what is the technology that is behind the inkless printer? Now there is no ink in the printer. Usual printers, we have either the inkjet printers, inkjet ink, or maybe the laser powder, right? So in the inkless printer, what kind of a ink is used? How they are going to produce color on a sheet of paper? Now you got to go in depth, because high probability these kind of questions are asked. Even if they do not ask, you are going to become a better designer by knowing all this information. Okay, so explore about the technology, then the concepts. Now concepts, in the sense we are talking about the future. Okay, see what kind of ideas companies are putting forward to. Okay, let us say digital game design. Let us take digital game design. Okay, so what kind of digital games are coming out in the near future? I'm not sure if you remember that particular game called as Go. What is a Go? um, I forgot the name of the game, but it's called Go, right? Wherein they are using the AR, VR, and also the game involves people or the players going onto the streets in hunt of a particular character, right? Now these are very interesting concepts. So when they're talking about digital game
On Go,
design,
Umesh.
sorry,
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go, right? Pokemon Go, right? So which has captured the entire world's attention. People are going on streets and without safety, and they're going inside the premises of other people campuses, and it's crazy. I mean, it's a pretty good concept, because they're trying to combine two worlds together, the real world and the virtual world together. So you have to see what gaming companies, okay, they are envisioning. What is the future of the game design? So you look at the major companies of the world of games, then they would have these white papers published and experimental things that are published Okay, so go through those papers and try to identify in which direction they are going, right? It gives you a very good understanding of that. So you take any of the 19 disciplines, there are some leading companies who are envisioning how their discipline in the future would be. So that would be your uh, inspiration point for generating or understanding the future concepts. Now note down all these concepts, because a question may be asked which would talk about a particular situation and how it can be solved if the technology is not a barrier and etc. Then if you have this kind of a list of concepts and ideas and etc. that are with you, I'm not telling you to replicate that, but with using that, you can create your own original stuff. Okay, so those become like a stimulus for you to coming up with very interesting ideas, original ideas. If you don't know all of those, then you would be thinking backwards what has happened in the past, and you will be repeating the same stuff. Okay, like for example, there are some questions, okay, in use in seed and NID also, they ask this kind of a questions like, okay, come up with a kind of a device that can be used without by persons who do not have a hands or whatever, right? So a question like that, general thinking of people is that they have to create something very, very mechanical, something that operates with a leg. It has a big lever, it goes and it hits something and then it opens and it cuts, and it's all very, very archaic thinking, like 1800s thinking. You see the machines that people have developed in 1800s, they're all like this, right? Now the technology has advanced so much, right? So you can use that kind of a technology and create very simple, intuitive machines that can do the job very, very nicely. Now when you are aware of that kind of a stuff, then you can answer them in a very profound way. Otherwise your solutions will be completely outdated, and such kind of a sketches or proposals would not fetch marks. So please look for concepts of various companies. All right, then the well-known designers. So in all these 19 disciplines, in each of the disciplines, there are well-known Indian designers and international designers as well. Okay. Now let us take animation film design. Okay. So can you think of a design house, an animation, a film design house that are doing some exceptional work? Can you think of some names if there are any students who are applying for animation film design? Okay, so if you're not, then you should be looking at this particular design studio. Uh, okay, so for example, you look at this design studio. Okay, they do fantastic work. Their website, okay, its website is here. Okay, so look into their work. They in fact have got some kind of documentaries on short movies on how they have created a particular advertisement. All right, and they do some fantastic works and amazing works they do. Right, so look at their work, look at the people who are involved in that. Follow them on Instagram or YouTube or LinkedIn, because that is how you can get to know the latest information of what they are doing, what kind of work that they are doing. I'm not sure if you remember this particular Simpu, this guy, a teacher, okay, who always says Pankaj. Pankaj is a very common name in Delhi, and he uses that as a funny way of, they call it as, they don't pronounce the Pankaj like Pankaj, they say it as Pankaj, and it's a character which used to come in MTV. Okay, I don't know if they are still doing it now or not, but follow these people. All right, and you would, for all these disciplines, okay, you talk about, you name a discipline, there will be some famous guy in that for sure. Okay, so please make a list of a huge database of designers, famous designers. Follow them, note their works, and research more into their works, and that is how you can uh, keep a tab on what is happening in the industry. Okay, another way of looking at things is the award-winning projects. Okay, now these projects have won awards because they are very, very peculiar in some way or the other, right? So there are many award websites, well-known award websites, like for example, if it is international, you can look at red.org. Okay, if it is India, you can look at NASCOM design awards. Like, not sure if you are aware or not, the DQ Edge that you are using, powered by Examplay, it is it's a NASCOM Design for India award winner, right? So keep a tab of what is happening with the award winning projects. So red.org. Okay, so this is a fantastic website where you can look at the various design all right, so am I looking at the right website? Let me just check. Okay, red dot design award 2021. Okay, it is red-dot.org. Okay, so they have changed their website. Okay, so it is red-dot.org. Okay, so for example, of course, they are showing about the upcoming stuff, but then you can also go through their previous awards. Okay, and even here you can find design concept. All right, so so we'd just like to show a couple of their previous winning. Okay, so you can look at so many ideas, possibilities, designs that are already showcased and done by great designers all across the world. And this is also a great source of inspiration and innovation for you. Look at this lighting systems. So, I mean, it looks quite interesting, isn't it? Okay, so in fact, tableware, like ceramic design. So somebody who is going for the glass and ceramic design. Okay, they also get a lot of information from here. Like for example, ceramics, coffee pots, cutlery, bottles, bowls, sets, dishes, glasses, special cutlery, table, teapots, openers, vases, etc., etc., etc. Right? Okay, now there is a particular page, a link where you can actually see all the previous year's works. Okay, I'm sure you just explore this website further and you will find the links, suitable links. All right, so that's one. Then the trends. What are the trends that are going on currently? Okay, let us talk about say furniture and interior design. Okay, what are the trends in the furniture, especially the furniture? The COVID has changed the way people are designing the interiors and the furniture. Okay, I'm not sure if you have noticed or not. Can you think how the furniture design has changed because of COVID? Any guesses? You can chat in the chat window if there are any guesses how COVID has changed the furniture design? All right. Okay. Any guesses on the furniture design? So Dhanush is saying also James Dyson Innovation Awards. Yes, James Dyson Innovation Awards. You can go through as well. So I'm not sure. I'm not receiving any responses here. But the furniture design, how it has changed is it has become flexible furniture. People are talking about flexible furniture now. All the chairs and furnitures, cots, sofas, and tables, everything comes with wheels, right? And these are flexible, so a table can probably changed into a something else, like probably a bookshelf, or so multi-use concept has kicked off as one of the trends during the COVID times. Okay, so Sahil is saying studio interiors which can have a feel of home and office both. Riti is saying screens for social distancing on tables in restaurants. Yes, but we'll do a little search on the internet. Okay. Okay, so in fact there are articles about how the interior design has changed pre and post COVID. Okay, and work from home brings new home furniture and design trends, right? So you got to follow these kind of a trends in all of these design disciplines. Everything has changed, the world has changed right in front of our eyes. So there's a great opportunity for the designers uh, to meet this new unseen demand. Okay, just seeing if there are any. All right. Okay, so the new work from home, privacy and soundproofing, because working from home, healthier spaces, voice control and easy to use technology so that the touch can be eliminated. Okay. Okay. So you're getting right. So do a thorough search to find out what's happening in your specific design discipline. Just looking for some interesting images if there are any special images that are available. But anyway. Okay. And please start documenting what all you have found, interesting stuff, and before the exam, you can go through them for easy, quick reference. All right. Okay, so trends. After the trends, so these are the areas 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 areas that you can explore further. You can do it during your office hours when you're having free time and etc. And when you come back home, you can collate all your thoughts and what you have explored something new, and you can note down and create your own mind maps and etc. Right? Right. Okay. Now comes the application part. Now you have gathered all this information. Now what are you gonna do with this information? Okay. Now you should start your observations. Okay, in the discipline that you have chosen. All right. These observations are related with these stakeholders. Now, who are the stakeholders? The stakeholders are the people associated with that particular problem. Okay, so we'll come to the stakeholders a little after. Okay, but what do you observe? Okay, let us say you are a product designer, okay, and you are moving through the spaces. You observe how people are using the tools that they are using for accomplishing a particular task. No, so when I'm using a word tool, tool is not just a spanner or a screwdriver. No, I mean anything that you use. Pen is a tool. Your water bottle is a tool, right? A mouse is a tool. A shoe is a tool. So everything people use is a tool. They are using it to accomplish a particular task, right? And you, as a design aspirant, you should be watching the problems people are facing, because you're in the field of product design. Let us say you're looking forward to become a product designer, so you can focus your energies in that particular area, right? So observation, it all starts with observation. And then think about the prevailing problems that are happening in the world. Okay, like for example, when you're going into a mall, or maybe you're going into a restaurant, or you're going into a medical shop, and etc., they would have found a particular way of doing things. Okay, now is there a the first part is to observe the problems, the prevailing problems. Okay, for example, in most, after the COVID, during the COVID and after the COVID, what has happened is most of the shop owners, the shop fronts, what they have done is they have kept a kind of a rope or a kind of a plaster, okay, or a stretchable vinyl uh, vinyl belt kind of a thing in front of their shops, okay, restricting the people to not to cross that particular band, right? So this is something which people have come up on their own, on their own way, right? Now, is there a way that problem can be solved interestingly? Okay, so this is something that you can be observant. First is very being very observant of the prevailing problems. In fact, yesterday I have seen something on LinkedIn. It's very, very interesting. Let me see if I can find that. Okay, uh, let me just log into my LinkedIn and check if I can showcase. uh, okay. So this is a solution provided at an airport. Okay, so this is a solution provided at an airport to help people maintain social distancing as they move along for boarding their flight, right? So this is a very, very interesting post. I wish I have that with me. Um, who is this? Naveen Jain. Okay. Um, in fact, Don Norman has commented on that. So let me just directly type in Don Norman. Don Norman. I hope you know who is Don Norman, right? If you don't know, I would want you to know about him. Uh, yeah, this one, this poster, right? So I'm going to play it. You can just as a simple visual, you can see that it's a very, very interesting one. You see that projection on the floor, which kind of shows the seat number, and the passengers are following that number and that particular grid, right? So that way they know exactly when to move, how far to move, how much distance they have to maintain from the people, forward and backward, right? Isn't this cool? It's pretty cool, right? So this is a so here you can see a solution for a prevailing problem. What is a problem? Prevailing problem is to ensure that there is enough space maintained between the people who are standing in a queue, standing in a line, right? Okay, uh, so this is the observation that I was talking about. Observe, observe. keep observing your surroundings, okay, and list the problems, prevailing problems, and also you can think about how it has been solved at this point of time and how best, in how other ways it can be solved with other means, right? Okay. Then the problem identification. Okay, so there are many problems that are already been identified, and there are so many problems which are not identified yet. Okay, in fact, it is said that the job of a designer is that he's not a problem solver, he's a problem identifier. He identifies the problem, okay, whereas the engineers solve the problem, designers identify the problem. All right, so you have to practice this problem identification at various places in the chosen area of your discipline. And then stakeholders and their insights. Now we're talking about stakeholders. Okay, so in the example that I have shown you, like the passengers walking in that passageway which is lit, illuminated by a projection, who are all the stakeholders in that? Can you list the stakeholders? Okay, so this is a very interesting exercise. I would want you to take some time to list the stakeholders. Okay, for example, there are easily seen stakeholders. Stakeholders are basically the people who are related with that particular problem. Okay, can you think of stakeholders in the clip that I have shown you? Of course, it is the passengers. Okay, I'm trying to help you brainstorm to find out the various stakeholders. Who else can be the stakeholders in that context? Can you think of people, any other people other than the passengers? The flight attendants, the airport staff, the people who are cleaning and maintaining the spaces, the security personnel. Okay, all these are the various stakeholders in that particular context. So similarly, you should be able to find out the various stakeholders and their insights from their perspective. Okay, now their perspective in the sense, let us say, if you show this clip to a security personnel, and what would he think? What problems he might come up with from his perspective? Okay, so what could be the problem of a flight attendant when this system is used or not used? All right, so you have to start thinking from their respective perspectives. So you need to identify the stakeholders. All right. All right. Okay. And the last thing is the design solutions. Now, this is the time where you ideate various solutions for the problems that you have identified. Okay. Now you can, because you have done extensive study of the technical terms, software use, practical experience, technology concepts, well-known designers and their works, award-winning projects and trends, now it becomes very easy for you to come up with design solutions. And all these design solutions, I strongly recommend you to note down, jot it down in your sketchbook, and create a database, a battery of ideas ready-made with you. Okay, so tomorrow in the exam, no matter what kind of question they give you, you already have a battery of ideas, and you can mix match them, combine them, and find the solution, give a solution to them just like that. Okay, in fact, this is a common practice followed by a famous architect called as BIG, Bach Ingles. Okay, so what he does is, in the design process, their team comes up with thousands and thousands of ideas, and they create so many models, and they choose only one of the model for a particular project. Generally, what others do is they discard all these ideas that are generated in the process. But this guy, he documents it. He creates a museum of all these ideas. Okay, why he does it? Because next time he's talking to a new customer, a new client, he already has ready-made solutions, fantastic ready-made solutions. So what he does is, depending on understanding what the client requires, he would show, okay, is this what something you're looking at? Okay, can we do something like this? And there is a physical, readily available model that is available. Yes, design is all contextual, etc., etc., etc. But this guy has become well known for his documentation of all his ideas and using them for various other problems. All right. So what they do is, once the design is kind of narrowed down, they customize it to the context and they solve the problem, right? So create a battery of such design solutions and be ready with them. Now you must be thinking that, okay, there are 19 disciplines. So my discipline is, let us say, product design, or maybe UX UI, or maybe some other design discipline. I am related to only that. I'm not going to look forward or look the other way. No. So this is where it gets very, very interesting. Now, product design, for example, can be used across industries. For example, it can be used in healthcare, education, agriculture, digital connectivity, retail, manufacturing, physical connectivity, urbanization, financial services. Product design can be used everywhere. Similarly, you take any design discipline, it can be used across industries. So now you have enough fodder to think about what kind of problems you can solve, and you can come up with many ideas. Okay, for example, if it is UX UI, you may, or interaction design, you may get a problem related with education, or you may get a problem related with agriculture, or could be related with retail or power or urbanization. Yes. So it becomes very interesting, and you can start uh, enjoying the process of exploring and equipping yourself to become a very strong design aspirant. All right. So that's how you have to prepare yourself. So this is a snapshot of what all we have discussed. All right. So if you have any questions, please type in the chat window. All right. So Sai is asking, any resources for new media design? All right. So for new media design or any other designs, I would give you a website which kind of documents all the interesting stuff that is happening in the world of architecture, fashion design. Okay. The website is called as designboom.com. Please subscribe to that, and they document all the creative things that are happening all across the world. Okay, so very interesting stuff they document. Got it. And what they have is, they have various disciplines, design disciplines. Okay, so architecture, design, art, technology, interviews, etc., etc. So you can look at technology and art and design. Okay, and you would find something relevant for the new media design. Okay, and this is also a very nice place for everyone, for all the design aspirants, to understand what is happening in the world of design and technology and art. Okay, and yes, of course, I always tell about this particular source called as D source. The D source, design source, where you, if you want to learn about more India specific stuff, then it talks about all the Indian related specific stuff. You can go through this as well. Okay, and more specifically, if you want to understand about the new media design, so go to design schools in new media design. Okay. You can visit MIT or okay, you can go to international design schools and check out what is happening, and check out the projects what students are doing. All right, so that way also you can gain some fantastic insights in terms of what is happening in terms of the new media design. Okay. Sahil is asking, the link has NID 2020 paper, but only the CDAT. What about design specific tests? All right. So Sahil, if you're talking about the DQ Edge, we will be uploading the design specific questions very shortly. All right. So we are gathering them, so we'll be uploading them. Shruti is asking sources from where we can know and learn them. Learn what? Learn what, Shruti? I have shown you the sources. Sahil is asking how many questions are there in the design specific test. Sahil, there could be minimum 1, maximum probably 10 or 20. Okay, so NID keeps on changing their pattern. All right, so you just be ready to see a surprise in the question paper. Okay, when you receive it. So it could be 1 question, could be 5 questions, it could be small questions within a subset of main questions. It could be anything like that. All right. Trends. So Shruti is talking about trends. So Shruti, may I know which particular design discipline you're looking at so that they can focus on that particular discipline? Okay. Abhigta is saying, when will be sketching approach to NID UG session? So Abhigta Das, this is the session. So if you're wondering why I'm not taking a particular question and why I'm not answering how it has to be solved, if you're waiting for that, I'm not going to do that, because that is not going to help you in any manner. Because I may solve one particular problem and I show you, but they're not going to ask a similar problem again. So in fact, instead of that, what I have given you is a framework through which how you can gather information and how you can make yourself prepared for any kind of a sketch question, especially the design specific question. Okay. Animation and graphic. All right. So Shruti, one specific, a very one simple, easy way of looking for trends is just typing for trends in graphic design 2021. Okay, you will have fantastic articles. Okay, so for example, 11 inspiring graphic design trends for 2021. All right, so they would give you all the nice information, like what are the trends that are happening, okay, along with beautiful examples. Okay, so this is the first abstract psychedelia, and you can also see what is happening. So these trends, what happens is they keep on changing, right? Every year on year, they keep on changing, building up, right? So it is better you follow the Google search as an option, because you will always get the latest information. No book, no website can give this kind of thorough information. Okay, for example, symbol revival. So how they are reviving the symbol. Retrofuturism. So retrofuturism. So these are the latest trends that are happening. Okay. So Sahil is asking, what is the weightage for design test? Is it 70-30? Yeah, 30 for the common design aptitude test and 70% for the specific design specific test. Yes, Sahil, that is 30-70. Dhriti Verma is saying, sir, what is your prediction about round 2? Do you think it will be a studio test as is usually done, or an online interview like last year? Dhriti, my prediction is it will be an online test. Okay, if you see the pandemic, how it is evolving, okay, the best measure of how the pandemic can go bad is looking at what is already happening in, let us say, in a country like UK. UK has come out of pandemic for some time, and then again it has deeply gone into a second round of pandemic with a new virus strain. Okay, and if you read yesterday's and today's news about the pandemic in India, right? For example, Maharashtra is planning to is already implemented lockdown in a couple of cities, and today there is a news that Karnataka is gonna have to take strong, strict measures if the number of cases are not under control, because they are seeing a spike in the cases, and it's going to happen like this. Okay, that's my prediction. Sorry, my prediction. So it will be an online thing, is what I'm believing. Okay, so it doesn't matter online or offline for a designer. Any kind of a format is absolutely fine. All right. Ishan is saying, sir, for someone who wants to take ceramic and glass, what are the kind of questions they can expect? So the kind of questions that they can expect is, number one, related with observation. Okay, like they may say, okay, using ceramic and glass, which one object that is being currently used in a household can be redesigned? I'm just predicting. All right. Or questions similar to observation, and questions related with experimentation, right? And innovation. Okay, so experimentation could be like, okay, can you combine ceramic with a different material and propose a product with a combination of that? Okay, and innovation could be how you can use glass to replace, let us say, plastic. Okay, is there a way of replacing glass using plastic, replacing plastic using glass, or something like that? Okay, so again, what I suggest is ceramic and glass. Okay, so search for ceramic, please no, wait, ceramic and glass design. Okay, wait. All right. So, okay. So, new trends in design and ideas for ceramic tiles in 2021, decor and design trends in 2021. So, these are the sources for you. Okay. So, to help you understand where the industry is going and what kind of direction people are going into. All right. So, it's a very simple, straightforward search. Okay. So, pick these terms, add your design discipline in front of it, and do a search and enjoy. Okay, there's plenty of fantastic information that you get through Google, and you can do that. Okay. Ishani is saying, sir, for someone who wants to take ceramic and glass design, I have answered that question. Manmeet Singh, does it go the same for masters too? Yes, last time it has happened to the masters as well, so it might happen this time as well for masters. Sahil, there is a chance of lockdown in Maharashtra. How will this affect NID exam on the 14th March? So that is the thing. See, in fact, if you look at the NID brochure, they have also clearly mentioned that if you look at the NID brochure, admission handbook, they have clearly mentioned that, see, depending on the prevailing pandemic situation of COVID-19, the schedules as well as the nature or structure of the exams can change, and all tests can be conducted entirely online or entirely offline, or in a combination of both modes as per the discretion of the institute. So it's possible. Everything can happen online as well. So be open. No matter what kind of a challenge is thrown at you, you are aspiring designers. You should be ready to take that challenge. Right? Okay, cool. So I hope you have enjoyed the session. You have learned something new. So please do like, share the video. If you're not, please subscribe. Subscribe to our channel so that you also get notifications for interesting webinars similar to today's. All right. Okay. So Dion, you are there. All right, so I think Dion is not there. So if there are no further questions, we're going to stop the session now, and all the best. Design is a journey that you can really, really enjoy. I still wish I can be as young as you and what do I do? Restart my journey into design. I would really love to do that, no matter when it is. It's a fantastic journey, so much to learn. Okay, so enjoy whatever you're studying, whatever you're exploring, and I wish you all the best. Okay, thank you so much.